Uphill putting. What are the keys to good uphill putting? Well, we need a stroke that's pretty heavy. When I say that, I mean the putter needs to feel heavy in your hands. It means we're going to hold the putter quite lightly. We've got about a 40-foot putt here going straight up the hill. We know it's uphill. We know it's uphill just due to the lie of the land, but we can also tell that it's uphill and it's going to be a little bit slower because the grass is quite dark in colour. Now, there's all these ideas that grass will always grow towards water or the setting sun or any of that sort of stuff. It's pretty simple. Grass will just simply grow downhill. That's the easiest place for grass to grow, heading downhill. So if we were to scratch up a bit of this grass here, we can see it starts getting a little jaggy. And if I brush the putter back in the other direction, that smooths it back down again, which we know that's the grain of the grass is growing against the line of our putt here. So we've got a couple of elements to deal with. We've got uphill and we've got slightly into the grain. Now, we're on pretty quick greens. They're not lightning by any stretch, but they're pretty quick. So with my orientation, we can see the shadow of the flags beyond the flag. So I'm probably going to look around that height of the actual flag shadow. I'm not going to necessarily putt in that direction, but that's the last thing I want to be looking at. That's the last thing you want to be looking at as a golfer. A lot of the problems we see with club level golf is people will be looking short of the hole, and that's generally where the ball ends up. People either have a fear of going beyond the hole, feeling like that's a mistake, and slowly sneaking up on it seems to be a better or more of the run-of-the-mill of what we see with amateur golfers. So we want to look beyond the hole, and we're going to have a heavy stroke. So what does that mean? So we want the putter to be heavy in our hands. So we're going to be rocking our shoulders back and forth to control the distance. We're not going to add any hands to this, and we certainly don't want any tight hands here. We just want heavy hands, light hands for a heavy putter. So I've lined my line up on my ball. I'm ready to pull the trigger. We're going to look beyond the hole. The ball needs to be left of the middle so we can get some upness in terms of contact. We certainly want to be striking upwards on the ball to get the ball up and rolling on top of the grass. So away we go. We're going to give this a whirl. Okay, so that's not a bad result. That's inside a club length, so I'm pretty happy with that. Anything inside a club length I'm usually pretty happy with. And like I said, when we've got about a 40-foot, or let's say we've got maybe nearly 20 metres here, if you operate inside the 10% rule. So if you're 20 metres away, if you can get it within inside a 10%, which means if you can get it to within 2 metres, you've done pretty well for a club level golfer. A top tour player is going to probably want to try and get it within 5% or nearer, so they're going to want maybe a metre or closer in terms of their distance. But what certainly helped me there, and I still misjudged the distance just a tickle, was I'm still looking beyond the hole. So I'm going to ignore where the hole actually is, set my orientation to about a metre or two behind the hole, and aim for that in terms of distance. And line's not a factor here. If you're 20 metres away or more, we're not interested in line necessarily. Of course, we're interested somewhat, but we're much more interested in speed and getting the feel for that. So I hope a couple of those tips help you there in terms of uphill putting and distance control. If you can get some upness on the strike of your putt, get your orientation beyond the hole, it's going to improve your consistency and it should make you feel more confident with your putting.